Hi, my name is Lindsay Gill, and I recently graduated from California Baptist University with my bachelor's in English, and I'm happy to be at CSULB to be pursuing a single subject teaching credential in English. So for fun, I enjoy reading, swimming, and playing French horn. I played in multiple ensembles throughout my undergrad, and I had a really good time with it. My perception of a good online class is one that is organized, and fosters collaboration and communication. So in response to the Module 1 materials, Dr. Achola's video outlined his expectations for the course, and I also read the syllabus and got a really good idea of what the assignments were and their purpose in equipping us to lead an inclusive classroom. So for video 2, the 13 disability categories covered under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act of 2004 include autism, deafblindness, deafness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment, which can include disabilities such as asthma, ADHD, epilepsy, etc., specific learning disability, speech language impairment, traumatic brain injury, and visual impairment. The fourth video also included this list of the 13, but it had two categories of high instance and low instance. So I took extra note of the high instance disabilities, as they're disabilities we are most likely to encounter in our classrooms in the future, which would include specific learning disability, speech and language, intellectual disability, emotional disability, other health impairment, and autism. Videos 3 and 4 address the childhood disability and special education eligibility rules. There are two. The student must have a documented disability in some area from the list of the 13 mentioned previously, and the student's disability must create an adverse impact on school performance. So even though a student might have a disability, if it does not adversely affect the student's ability to perform in school, then they would not be eligible. Two common issues associated with adolescents and disabilities include, from the Week 1 PowerPoint, a general lack of social competence around typical peers, and two main ones that I realized are associated with adolescents and disability are prejudice and discrimination. Dr. Lisa Thornton, in her TED Talk video, described how parents of children with disabilities clean up their language. And the hurtful language we use, whether we intend to or not, can contribute to issues of discrimination and prejudice, which is why it's so important we use people-first language, which transitions into the textbook reading. According to Bateman and Klein, people-first language is used to speak appropriately and respectfully about an individual with a disability. Everyone is entitled to respect, and it doesn't matter what disability they have, because it certainly does not disqualify that individual from being treated with respect and dignity. An example in the appendix of the Bateman and Klein book is to say that a person has an emotional or behavioral disability, or that is a person with emotional or behavior disability, instead of calling them names like crazy or psycho, which is clearly disrespectful and just belittling. Another example that I really appreciated was one, again, that Dr. Lisa Thornton gave in her TED Talk, which is to say that a person uses a wheelchair, which is people-first language. And she described further how a person who uses a wheelchair is liberated by it. They are by no means bound to the wheelchair, and it's just incorrect to call them wheelchair bound, as well as disrespectful, because the wheelchair allows them to participate in everyday activities just like everyone else. It liberates them, and I really appreciated her description of that and how wheelchair usage can help a person with a disability be liberated, and it was very encouraging, I think, how she phrased it, and respectful.